Plus review edition of Movie Changeup. We're not really going to be reviewing anything today, but I wanted to use our Disney Plus review opening. I'm Joe Furkey, joined with Tristan Mayer, who joins me on all of our Disney Plus reviews, and we're just going to be watching the very first episode of Star Wars Visions. This episode is called The Duel. I'll be honest, I really don't know anything about this episode except that I think a duel takes place. If you don't really know what Star Wars Visions is, basically, Star Wars and Lucasfilm contacted various anime studios and were like, "Hey, we want you to make a short film using Star Wars as kind of the basis. You know, you can do whatever you want. It really doesn't have to take place within our larger canon. It doesn't have to connect to anything. Just, Star Wars was partially based on old, Japanese movies as kind of like what their inspiration was. So it was more like, okay, we took from you, now you take from us, and tell your story." And I watched episode 2, and it's like anthology. They're not connected to each other in any way, but that episode was called Tatooine Rhapsody, and I mainly watched that one because it was the one I was looking forward to the least. So I'm like, oh, I'll just get this out of the way, and I actually liked it a lot. There's that one takes place a little bit into the era of the Empire, based on the opening. I thought there was some heart to the episode, and I really liked it. And the duel is one of the ones I was looking forward to the most. So if I have that same level of what I receive based on what I expect, this may be my favorite thing to ever come out of Star Wars. So, Tristan, I'll let you talk for a minute. Uh,
Yeah, unlike you, I have seen none of this yet, so this will be my first time watching Star Wars Visions. I'm looking forward to it though, because yeah, like you said, this is one that's been talked about, and I think Star Wars Visions has been one of Disney Plus's shows that is a little bit less known. Like we knew the general idea of what it was, but I'm going into this now. Like I know it's an anthology, but I'm not quite sure exactly what to expect. So I like that I'm just kind of being thrown into the Star Wars world and seeing things sort of with the Star Wars iconography and Star Wars style that are not trying to at all tell a story or tell a connective through line, and just being like, oh, here's one story, here's another, and it'll be nice to escape from trying to put together the pieces of Star Wars for a while and just have some fun with the series. But I wanted to mention the episode here, The Duel. The studio behind it is Kamikaze Duga, who I know from doing the openings for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the anime that has some really great openings. Each season has a completely unique and different theme where they're like totally different settings, totally different like versions of the characters. So each of the openings are totally different as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like the blending of JoJo's with Star Wars, and if they do it in a similar style. I know that Kamikaze Duga is known for doing like a blend of 2D and 3D animation. So I'm wondering how it's going to look in Star Wars. Are they going to be doing the same style? Is it going to be this blending of 2D and 3D? I can't wait to see it.
all right, yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. Tristan's looking forward to this. This episode's 14 minutes and 10 seconds long, and you ready to get started?
I'm ready to get started, Joe.
All right, let's hit play in five, four, three, two, one, and play.
Love that Disney Plus logo.
Same. Got the Lucasfilm Limited logo popping up. Apparently, there's some moderate violence because it's rated TV PG. Ooh, I like this little visions, kind of like the paint style of it rolling
I do
around.
too.
Oh, and Tristan's camera went out, which is great for a reaction. Oh, he's back. Yeah, that may happen if you watched our James Bond thing that we just recorded. That should be up this Friday. Ooh, I'm loving this. I'm not gonna lie, I did see the first 15 seconds of this episode, and then I'm like,
I
oh,
like
we
this
should
look
record
to
a
it.
reaction to this. Yeah, this
I
is as
really
far
like
as
it.
I
Just
got. Ooh, I love this. Yeah, this was the one that that everyone was saying was like straight out of like a Kurosawa, like a Kurosawa version of an animated movie, or an animated version
well,
of a Kurosawa movie. Either way, I think that works.
yeah, I'm like immediately into this. This is a really interesting style, and yeah, oh, I love the minimalism of the color here too. There's that's not
The
purely black and
lights.
white. They're throwing in some color too,
Yeah.
and yeah, it is a blending of 2D. They all look to like you can tell the tree and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
there
love
was
it.
some more. There was some of that in Tatooine Rhapsody, but it was a lot more egregious. Like it almost took me out of it a little bit. But and with Tatooine Rhapsody, like I said, it very clearly took place a few years after the rise of the Empire. I'm curious if this will have like a very clear like, oh, this is when this takes place, because like so far I don't really know.
Yeah, this
And
looks
even if
literally
I
nothing like
if
anything
they
I've seen
never
in Star
answer
Wars before.
like this, I feel like isn't really intended to take place in a known era. Is what I'm getting, because like they're stormtroopers, but they're like a mix between like samurai and stormtrooper. So I think this is more just, hey, we were inspired by the look of Star Wars. This isn't really supposed to be a certain time period in Star
I
Wars.
can't remember. I think it's Slideshow Collectibles that does these samurai-inspired Star Wars statues that look a lot like the Stormtrooper look for
Yeah,
this. I wonder if they took notes from those statues for this episode.
yeah.
Oh, he's a big bad Empire though.
Yeah.
It is Star Wars.
Mother's little kid. I'm into this. I feel like this kid's got some abilities.
Yep, he's got some trauma. That's what you need for abilities in Star Wars.
And like I said, Disney basically said that these aren't canon, but would also not be surprised if later on some of these were like molded into canon, or characters from this were referenced in canon works.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like you hear a story from somewhere in some Star Wars thing about like all this legend of like a Ronin Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah, this feels like very. This is like, what if you married um, Rogue One with a Kurosawa movie and animated it? Is what the vibe I'm getting. What the
Yeah,
fuck? This is amazing.
I'm really into this.
A,
This is
a probe
very
droid with
impressive.
samurai swords cutting down stormtroopers is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Ooh, that was sick.
Ooh, the music is really good here too. We haven't talked about the music too much, but it's been consistently good.
Yeah, I have it turned down maybe a little too much. I haven't picked up the music. Ooh, Trandoshan.
Ooh,
Ooh, yeah, I've heard
badass.
people. That's a big GIF that's been going around Twitter a lot. Is that spinny thing? I'm gonna.
Wow. Really cool character. I think this is like really impressing me so far. I was expecting it. Well, I mean, this is not exactly dark, but I was expecting it to be like goofy.
Okay, so there is a novel that is coming out that is based on this episode.
Forgot about that. They did announce that. That's awesome. Ooh, brutal. I'm liking the droid designs too. Like you
Yeah,
mentioned, that one
that's
that spins around. Have you heard of Kurosawa? Because I believe they have the directors of the episode.
yeah. that's sick.
Uh, Using the force to literally grab a lightsaber.
I love the like straight up hilt.
Every time we get a cool like hilt shot in Star Wars, it's always so good. Just in case you weren't watching, they're gonna make sure the character says it out loud. It was Corolla.
Yeah. Hey, that image looks familiar. If you watched our Disney Plus review last week.
Bringing back in the Star Wars music now for the Tusken Raider.
Oh, look, it's. Oh, I thought that was a probe droid. It was just Sabalba and a thing. Rude.
I love that these people were dueling and they're like, wait, no, let's do the most dramatic thing possible. We're gonna go out on this little
River.
ledge here
Yeah.
and we're gonna battle as it's spinning down the river. Yeah, I can't. They were like, no, we got all this land. We got to fight on the river. Make it more badass.
Yeah.
I
You
love it.
can't fight on land. Fighting on land is for like younglings.
You're getting really interesting, like hints of Duel of Fates. Like the core baseline of Duel of Fates is like underneath this, but it has
Yeah.
like this injection of like more samurai inspired music. I guess
Yeah.
it's been interesting.
Something's happening here.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to go so easy for them.
Do you think this is George Lucas's favorite thing that's ever been made?
I feel like he would love this. He probably, I would not imagine he's a fan of anything else that Disney's done with Star Wars, except maybe Mandalorian. I think he had some positive thoughts on
I think
that.
he
But
liked Rogue One. I think he liked Rogue One and Solo a lot. I know people have their opinions against Solo, but
I could see George Lucas really liking this because it has that creative energy that I think he likes about Star Wars.
yeah,
They're not trying to just like repeat things over and over again.
yeah.
But it is poetic and it rhymes. You know, there's the things that are the same throughout all of Star Wars, and there's the things that are different.
Okay, this droid might be number one for favorite Star Wars droid of all time.
Yeah, this droid is literally awesome. I can't wait to read that book. I hope the droid's in. Oh god, I get some really unflattering stills when the camera goes out. I will say. Ooh. Oh, don't worry, he's okay. That's a cool shot.
Yeah, with him. Like, this is one of those things. I know we were talking about Star Wars, like, being original, and that was one of the things, but I'd love for them to just, like, copy that in a shot at some point and, like, something canon, you know? I'd love for
Mm-hmm.
artists to, like, be inspired by this to put something, you know, in Star Wars.
Yeah, because whether they're doing directly this, I could see people watching this and being like, "Oh, I want to do like a samurai inspired Star Wars movie," or
Yeah,
"I'm gonna copy the action of that one fight scene," or "This sequence is gonna be kind of attributed in another movie."
yeah, definitely.
What a blast, Joe! We still got 3 minutes left, but
A minute and a half of that's gonna be credits, basically. Oh, conk droid. Droid gonking. Hand job. What the hell's he gonna do with that? It's busted.
Give me a sequel.
Sorry, I haven't talked much. I've been too into this, but
Yeah, I've been invested. I didn't look.
yeah,
We'll
this is
talk in a
amazing.
second about our overall thoughts.
Yeah.
It's impressive, Joe. You didn't set me up for how good the show is going to be.
Well, because the next one isn't as good. I enjoyed the next one, and you'll enjoy it when you watch it. I hope. Um, but oh, can I go back? Okay, the episode's over, so I'm gonna go back. We're not missing anything. I just want to see what the voice cast was for this episode in the English.
You can
Oh, I
also
missed it.
watch this in.
Missed it.
I think they had a good Japanese voice cast. They went out of the way to like bring in a good voice cast. So if you want to watch it with the traditional Japanese voiceover you get with an anime,
Yeah.
it's definitely. I'm curious of potentially rewatching that with the Japanese voiceover on.
Okay, so the bandit leader was Lucy Liu, and that's of the names I recognize. That's really the only name that sticks out. Is the bandit leader was Lucy Liu.
I wonder if all of these are going to have at least like one recognizable actor in them,
Well, the
or if it's
next
just
one will
because it's the
definitely
premiere.
have a voice actor an actor you recognize.
I'm
Potentially
curious.
Rhapsody.
Is it so? Rami Malek is not in that one, or
No, it's someone who has a show coming out in December-ish.
hmm?
He's also in Aquaman. Um,
Yeah, I think I got the idea.
all right. But
I
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
know.
like that one a lot. That was
Yeah,
really impressive because I expect we have What If going on right now, which is a similar idea within the Marvel universe. They're taking characters and ideas, and running with them. But I've felt like What If has never quite gotten like all the way out into the territory that it could have gotten into so far, at least. And I think that from episode one, you can tell that this show is willing to just do whatever. Like the art style can completely change, the setting can completely change, the whole look is totally different than anything I've ever seen in Star Wars, and it really set the premise. Like I said, I haven't seen the rest of the show obviously, but I'm more excited for it now than I was 15 minutes ago. I'm sure they may have front loaded the season and given us the best one up front, but if this isn't indicated for some of the stuff we have coming forward, if not in the quality, at least in like the ambition,
yeah,
I think it's a good sign.
yeah. It'll be interesting because I think there's one called the Ninth Jedi that people really like, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. I definitely hope we get a season two. Maybe mix up the studios. We got, I think, 7 or 8 studios this time. So, I don't know how many like top tier anime studios and how many of these, because I know nothing about anime. The last two quote unquote anime things I ever watched in my life, if you don't count Studio Ghibli movies, were Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. So that's kind of where my anime knowledge ends. But I'd love if they were like, hey, next one, we got a Studio Ghibli made Star Wars short, season 2 of Star Wars Visions. And I gotta imagine this has been relatively popular on Twitter, I would say. So if the viewership's there, I think there's a good chance we could get a season two. And the fact that it's different studios and not the same studio, I feel like this is something you could easily, even though animation takes a while, this is something I think you could even easily crank out like once or twice a year. This is not like normal animation, like a season of animation where it would normally take like 2 or 3 years to make. Where it's like, oh, okay, season one went over, let's greenlight season two. It's like, okay, like we want a short in 6 months. I feel like that's easily feasible and attainable, especially for something that could get international studios, a lot of traction in the United States.
Yeah, I was thinking that same point you brought up at the end is that I think this could be something that anime studios would jump at the opportunity to be a part of. Especially, it looks to me from that first episode that they were very hands off, and they really did say like just do whatever. And that's what I've heard from interviews is Disney was very hands off. They really gave nothing in terms of like guidance for these studios, and they were able to pretty much just do what they wanted to do with it. And I think that level of hands-off creativity is going to be appealing to anime studios, especially like you said, breaking into the West. And as anime gets more and more and more big here in the United States, I think this is a good chance for studios to put the name in front of people's eyes. One of the biggest franchise IPs going on right now is Star Wars, and yeah, like you said, we just talked about Kamikaze Yuga for perhaps the first time in Joe's life. He's heard the name Kamikaze Yuga, and who knows? Someone could watch an episode and love it and look up Kamikaze Yuga's other work, and next thing they know, they're watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I think this could lead down to some good rabbit holes for these studios. So yeah, I would love to see. I mean, it's hard to review the series after one episode, but after one episode, I'm excited for the rest of the
Yep.
series. So I'm looking forward to it a lot.
I'm curious too, depending on how some of these hit. Like, I don't know how like it works with the Oscars because I feel like they have to maybe play in a theater, but I mean, maybe not this year, but I know like with animated, with I know you have like Robotech and a lot of those like plane um, themed animes. It'd be really interesting if, like, say season 3 of this, that you have Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron premiere December 2023. What if they were like played episode 1 of season 3 before the movie? Not connected. It's just anime with planes and stuff in Star Wars, and then like the season debuts like a couple weeks later, and like boom,
Yeah,
that short's nominated for an Oscar.
yeah, and even I can see it getting like Emmy nomination potentially. Disney was up for a good amount of Emmys last week, and they didn't get any. They might have gotten one or two. I can't say they didn't get any, but
Yeah,
in terms of like the primetime Emmys, they didn't get much. So it would be curious to see if they can start bringing home some wins
yeah,
next year, and this could be one for them.
yeah, definitely. All right, I think that wraps up our discussion on the Duel as part of Star Wars Visions. Definitely, if you enjoyed us talking about it, share it. On whatever social media. Tell your friends. Be like, hey, these guys are into Star Wars. They're watching stuff on Disney Plus. So go ahead and check us
Yeah, and
out.
if you like Visions, we're going to be doing a whole series review of it this week. So I'm going to be binging through the rest of it here the next couple of days, and we'll be having one up for you, a whole series review, the whole season so far.
Yeah, tomorrow with all the shows that decided to release today, it's gonna be a busy day for me when I get home from work. We might, well, we might, well, we'll talk off air. Without further ado, goodbye.